morning, Friday morning arcade. I am your host, Brady Keith. Joining me is my co-host,
Nick Ryan.
And Canton hologram lover, Roberts.
And today we are going to be covering SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. Now, I got to give a little bit of a warning. Our light back here is flashing and will probably go off halfway into the recording. But anyways, we are going to be covering a game that us three have talked about for a while in covering, and it's kind of known in the wrestling community and sort of the wrestling video game community as one of the top 3 wrestling games of all time. Am I mistaken in this?
No.
I agree.
So we're going to there went our light. So we're going to delve in to it, starting with Nick Ryan, and he's going to give us his little viewpoint on SmackDown Here Comes the Pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved the kind of aesthetic of it. I'm someone who I kind of come from a background of sports games, but also arcade games. And this game really combined a lot of what is known of those two genres into one of the most seamless experiences ever. I look like I just walked into the gates of heaven. Boom. No. But yeah, overall, the game is super well made. Even for I think this came out in 2003.
I think it was in 08.
Was it? No.
No. It was a while ago.
It was 02.
Yeah, it's seen as an older game, especially within the wrestling game kind of genre, where it's anything 2 years.
2003.
I was right. Look at that. Yeah, that's right. Cry about it.
With good old Brock Lesnar as the cover
Oh
star.
yeah, that was before everything.
Before everything.
Yeah, wow, man. I just had an epiphany. But yeah, overall, it's one of the best feeling games ever. And for the type of gameplay that it presents, it really it's superior to a lot of other third-person kind of arena-based arcade games or fighting games. So yeah, we'll pass it on over to Canton the Hologram Roberts. And what are your thoughts on it, sir?
This was before 2K took over, so it's before the simulation, more archaic.
It was produced by Ukes.
Oh, sma. THQ. If you want a fun wrestling game, anything by THQ or developed or published by THQ, amazing. Right. I mean, recently, again, like I said, with 2K, it's more simulation. But with 2K or with Here Comes the Pain, I know I've seen non-wrestling game YouTubers play Here Comes the Pain because of how fun it is. Mm-hmm. And if right now the WWE is trying to reach out, broaden its horizons, and I think if they go to a more archaic version of this, a more fun version, a less realistic version, this could be a way to get your games to be the same way.
I don't know. I'm kind of a big supporter here lately of 2K with the games, because 2K24 and 25, I feel, were some of their better games. When they took over for 14, 14 to 23.
Okay.
To 20 weren't that great, especially 19 and 20.
Yeah. Well, 19 was great.
All right, yeah, my bad. My problem with 19 was all of the crashes and the glitches and the problems. Was it 19 with that ugly white?
You mean that beautiful white background?
I hated it.
Bro,
I hated it so much.
Nick, what's your opinion on the white background?
I have never played 2K19. I had it. I had it, but that's around the time to where I started dropping off of wrestling games as a whole. But yeah, like for me, I kind of like quote unquote like grew up on 2K 14, 15, and 16. I liked 2K17, but I feel like 2K18 was kind of when it started to really decline. I mean, I think a lot of it too has to do with the yearly releases. I mean, that's never been. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Oh, don't bring up that trauma. I was in BDE. Brandon Does Everything's live stream where he listened to that for like 9 hours.
For context, Nick, there was this song that always played when you open up the game that said
Okay.
"Blow My Mind."
And it was Daniel Bryan's theme song.
Over.
It would not stop. Like, the music in these games haven't gotten worse, I'll say that.
This last game, 2K25, had a bunch of really great metal tracks on
Oh,
it.
dude,
I was
this is
like
I loved 2K25 soundtrack.
Knocked Loose, Spirit Box. I was like,
I think like Hooligan or something. Joey Valance,
Oh yeah, I know.
the
Joey and Bray.
hits you with that punk tactics. That guy.
yeah.
He had some. This by far was the best 2K soundtrack in a long time.
Always turn it off because most of the time, like remember last year when it was like a Post Malone song,
Oh.
but it was a sad one because who wants to be happy when playing a wrestling game?
Yeah,
That's not a thing people want. But as they are looking up whatever they want to look up,
Yeah, Gojira. Yeah, Gojira was on here, and also Architects. So yeah, it was a really, really packed soundtrack.
Spirit Box, Baby Metal,
Oh, I forgot Baby Metal.
Eminem, the Suicide Boys. Like there was some good people on
Yeah.
this soundtrack. But anyway, back to Here Comes the Pain. I'm gonna take us on a little bit more of a delve into the game with one of my favorite features that I really feel that they need to bring back, and that is the custom finishers.
oh my,
Where you can build your own finisher. Like that is something that I feel like has been missing for a long time in 2K games because they give you a whole gigantic list of moves you can use for your finisher, but it's something somebody has used as a signature or a finisher. So it like I love it, but I also don't love it because it takes away that creative factor of building a Ka or a created person wrestler. I can't remember what the A stands for, but
Cray wrestler.
yeah, created wrestler. It feels like you're borrowing parts of other people for your own Ka when that's why I like Here Comes the Pain so much, and I think it's so high is because it felt like you were creating somebody original and unique and your own for it.
Yeah, I've always felt that like you're the creator wrestler, and like also the like career like mechanic or mode has kind of been meh, like since I'd probably say Raw versus SmackDown.
Okay.
Okay.
2K25's career mode or my story.
That was
That one's been pretty fire. Like 2K24 and 25 really picked it up a notch when it came to their story again. But
Yeah.
back to what you were saying.
But yeah, I was like fairly I'm fairly surprised about like how well the customization is, especially for the age of the game, because this is what would it be, PlayStation 1, early
Two.
2,
Early two.
yeah,
Early
like
two.
early
two.
generation 2, and it's like it runs really, really well, and like the customization aspect is super good. I mean, a lot of games I feel haven't really created a good customization aspect until around the time of like Skyrim and like Oblivion. And so the fact that like you have a game like that like bursts onto the scene, and it's not like a fantasy RPG and it's like an arcade game, it's super unique. And but yeah, Canton, I kind of want to circle back to you because you were talking about like the soundtrack of it. Have you listened to the soundtrack of this game?
This is the one with Marilyn Manson on it, right?
I believe so.
Beautiful people, beautiful people. Wow. That is the single best wrestling game soundtrack song ever. There's a close second, Breaking Benjamin with Firefly and SmackDown vs. Raw 2. That's 207. But beautiful people, beautiful people. Marilyn Manson, never listened to any of their songs. But the one I have is kind of a banger.
Oh, dude, Across the Nation,
Yeah.
Union Underground.
Oh yeah, that was during
Nation.
that era.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that used to be my jam.
Across-
Union Underground is like
This fire burns CM Punk.
Was
Era.
Punk
Oh.
even in the game?
Yeah.
in 2003.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't remember, but his song is in the soundtrack.
Because he would have still been in like
Yeah.
ROH.
Maybe,
Dude is
maybe
like
not.
Ring
Maybe
of
not.
Honor days.
But no, Rob Zombie was on the soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Oh, brother. Rob Zombie, overrated.
He's quite overrated. He does have some good songs, though.
Living Dead Girl, kind of cheeks. I do not like Living Dead Girl.
Dude,
Living Dead Girl,
we're
overrated song.
The flamingo hat is about to go away for a second, but no, he's got some pretty good ones. But no,
I
Wait.
just looked over at Canton whenever you commented on his flamingo, and he looked so hurt. He was like, done.
was the Big Show in WWE
Yeah.
in 2003?
He was.
Oh.
He was still had hair, I believe, at that point.
Oh, was this when he was called the Giant?
I don't think he was. I think he just turned to Big Show.
Yeah.
He was just Big Show.
Yeah, because this was around the time of when Eddie was like,
Yeah, Viva la
Yeah.
Raza.
Actually, you know what? That might have been
Achi Asti.
the same year that he won the championship.
It was.
I think.
Didn't he die like 4 months later after winning?
This is in 2003. Oh, after he won?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty tragic.
R.I.P. Eddie. R.I.P. Eddie. Dominic
love him.
Mysterio's real father.
Okay.
Okay, but to get back on track
Yeah.
with what we were saying about 2K and the create a finisher, I will take create a finisher over GM mode any day. GM mode, it was good in SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, the greatest it ever been. Ever since then, even in the new 2K series, not that good. It's a little bit too limited for my taste.
Oh, he just shot an arrow through my heart. That is, I have almost 1,000 hours between 2K24 and 2K25's my GM mode. That has been my personal go-to I want to play mode.
Not my GM mode. If you want a good GM mode, there used to be a mobile game. It was like it was from like JD Edwards or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're
JD
talking about. It was like Wrestling Booker.
J Dickey, I think.
Oh,
the-
M. Dickey. You're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about M.
yeah,
Dickey.
yeah,
Wrestling Empire.
Wrestling
that-
Empire.
if you want a good GM mode, that's where you
Well,
want.
with Wrestling Empire, you can do a lot of stuff
Yeah.
from Wrestling Empire.
Another, if you just want straight booking, there's Journey of Wrestling, which is on PC. It's like $19. Pretty good, pretty detailed.
See, these guys, they're my biggest haters when it comes to certain things. But no, I loved my GM mode. I love the fact of the freedom it gave you to, like, let's say you wanted to redo a card that they had, so you could go straight into my GM mode, hire all these people, and redo it at a different way than they did. Let's say, I don't know, let's bring up Mania, for example. If you wanted to go back through it and rechange the match stipulations and move around the match order, you could have moved to CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns
Yeah.
to the opener and moved the women's triple threat, Bianca, Rhea, and Io to the main event.
Well, they were on different shows, weren't they? Different nights.
It doesn't matter.
They're
Is what
both
I'm-
great.
Is what I'm saying is you can put them all in one night.
Yeah.
And flip
Yeah.
them. But still, that's what I really love my GM in the way. I never loved a mode in there, like I always found it irritating. Like I liked playing other modes, but I don't know. I just something about my GM mode. I just fell in love with. I fell in love with it, especially after watching Stash Club Wrestling's my GM bros. R.I.P. What the original Stash Club Wrestling. I miss you. I miss you.
Yeah. Like one thing that I do also kind of want to add in is like the look of the game. I feel like a lot of sports games tend to like. Where are you dusting off your?
I'm dusting off my case and stuff. Ignore this.
What you were saying, Nick?
Yeah. But yeah, one thing that like I feel like has kind of been lost on like the wrestling and even like sports video games is like having some sort of like art style, like having some sort of stylization of it, and instead of it being like, oh, how close can we get the real models in the game to look like, and not to say, for instance, there's that one like animated wrestling game back in like 2009, but like
One on the DS.
no, there's another one.
Animated wrestling game.
The one on the DS where you literally had like, oh no, that game was never released. Never mind.
But yeah, like but like having that kind of stylization, it's like it's super cool, and it kind of brings that flair, and like that's something that I do kind of agree with you that I wish that those games would kind of bring back a more arcade feeling, and instead of it being like, oh, how close can we make the game, but yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on like the look of the game? Because we haven't really talked a lot about like older games, so I kind of want to pick your brains about that.
One of my favorite details is whenever you're playing anyone like Brock Lesnar or Scotty 2 Hotty, they have this like certain idle animation, which is super funny to me because why is Scotty 2 Hotty dancing before he's about to get F5 to the ground? He doesn't need to be doing that. Run away, Scotty. Run far. No, he's just doing the too cool dance over here, like Rikishi doing it over here. Like, dog, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
I have like 5 finishers right now. Run out of the building. Run. It's just, and then Brock doing these like shoulder rubs. I'm not sure you can see. It's just like this. It's so weird.
I personally, I loved just sitting there for the idle animations, but also the idle commentary that you would get every once in a while. It was some great, but like we said, this is an older game, so it's not like other games we covered and talked about, like Detroit Become Human, and the way of how beautifully done and driven the game is graphically wise. I'm not gonna lie, it's not great graphically wise. Let's put it that way. It's not great. It's not.
This game would not get its Game of the Year award for graphics.
I don't know. Some people like that kind of retro style.
Like,
do
don't
like
get me
it,
wrong.
but-
I like the retro style, but in this game, I'm gonna say this: Detroit Human kind of ruined me for games graphically wise.
Oh yeah.
Because I want games to look as good graphically as Detroit Becoming Human did, but I also want them to be fun and enjoyable games. But no, that's kind of where I'm at a little bit right there.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, because this game it's fairly small, but the amount of stuff that you can do within the game is like super unique. I think that's something that I know that there's a lot of like comparing and contrasting with a lot of the newer games, but that's something that has kind of been lost since 2K like 19, whenever they started to step away from like the Legends mode, or a lot of the other kind of extra modes, and started just doing like, oh, create my career. It's just like, I would rather do a my career, but like have all of these different things, like go and become a GM if I wanted to, and instead of having all of these separate modes, it feels very bloated at times. And going back to this game, I heavily adore the simplistic nature of it.
Talk about extra modes. Can we talk about showcase mode?
No.
Oh my gosh. Showcase mode, I feel like, has been a cool addition, but one of the worst additions because there's so much you have to do in it and so long that it takes to do each match. And lately, they've been like 30 matches you had to do. It's so like infuriating sitting there waiting to do something and accidentally win or something. So you have to go back and restart everything. Like, it's so annoying. By far, it's one of the worst additions. Like, my faction is bad, but it's not showcase mode bad.
We talked a lot about Assassin's Creed, but one of the things with the earlier Assassin's Creed was like the synchronization thing, to where you had to like meet these requirements to get 100% on each mission. And yeah, those showcase modes like always remind me of that.
Yeah, like there's Money in the Bank ladder match. I'm pretty sure you play a match where the person you're playing as, Tamina, didn't win. And it has a timer on it for some reason.
Oh,
That I heard
yeah.
of.
Yeah, why? Triple H. Guys at 2K. What? Why? Why?
Okay, Black Canary.
Why?
I was thinking like Mario.
Oh, yeah.
But why did we add a timer for Tamina? Everybody's meaner than Tamina. Like,
Yeah.
why?
You know, like, I mean, it's Tamina.
Yeah.
Who doesn't
Still.
love Tamina?
Back to our original thing. It's a fun game. It really is. That's the easiest way to describe it. The game's fun. We talk about how games nowadays, some of them don't feel fun and feel too competitive. Like lately with games, you try to play an online wrestling match and it feels really competitive, and everybody can kick out at 2 or 1 because they've been sitting there and grinding this game. SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. It's another one of those games that feels fun to play and not like a chore or a challenge to play.
Yeah, like even with I think it was like WWE Vengeance, you had like the spike headbutt. I mean that because what would happen is that you would have this very short wind up for you to be able to do this move, which was Spike Dudley's headbutt, and basically he would like go into the person's like midsection and headbutt them, and then what would happen is that there were like almost 3 frames, which for a game like a fighting game like that, like that's a lot of time. And basically it would allow the other player to get whether they needed a breather or, set up their next move or their next grapple, they were able to. And that's something, and, with a lot of people that go back and play that game, they always add that to whatever character they're playing because it's fun. It's fun, but it's also effective. And that's something that, a lot of these newer games have kind of lost. And I'd even say that for the competitive nature of the game, there isn't a huge competitive community to it, or at least what I've seen. Not, in the same aspect of a Soul Calibur or, Street Fighter, so... but yeah, I'm just trying to like fill the air here because I'm just like, for what the game is, it's like I said, it's simplistic. But anytime I think about the game, I'm like completely lost because it's like it's just a great game.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to describe it. It's one of the greats. It's one of the Mount Rushmores of wrestling games. It's the easiest way to describe it. I don't really have anything else left to talk about the game other than it's a great game.
We could
Definitely go play it.
We're trying to move on to the season mode.
The season mode, it's fun because
One of the greatest.
it's one of the it's a fun add-in to a game. Like I think they should bring it back.
Yeah.
Because what it is, it's a different my career mode in the way you would pick a wrestler could you do your call?
Yeah, you could do create a wrestler.
Yeah, so it's like a different take on my career or whatever else they would have called it. But you got to like play one season, so that was like I think it would have been Money in the Bank to Money in the Bank the next year.
That sounds about right.
But you got to play. Basically, it's what is it? It's like all your other sports games, like your MLB, your NFL, your Madden. Like it's games like those. The mode, which is it makes the game feel different and fun at the same time. Well, here we go back in with the fun, but no, it's a very different take in a way to do a career or like a campaign mode. That's one of the things I'm looking for.
It feels like one of those like type of like ladder match thing or like the ladder modes in like fighting games, to where it was constantly like you beat one and then you go up to the next and the next, and your goal is to get to whatever that next season would be.
Your towers in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, exactly. The towers. I like my closing thought would be like, obviously, I would love to see a remaster of this game. I don't think that there needs to be a remake, but just a remaster. Kind of clean up the graphics a little bit, but like, heck, even putting it into like a GameCube collection. I mean, like, you can get Vengeance remastered.
Hey, Switch, you're adding GameCube collection. Why don't we throw this bad boy on to throw SmackDown Here Comes the Pain onto that GameCube collection? You're already moving the 2Ks over. Why don't we add Here Comes the Pain on there?
Yeah, I mean, that game would be perfect for
Pretty pleased.
the Switch.
You've stolen enough of my money with the Mortal Kombat 1 situation and fiasco.
Yeah.
My closing thoughts are it's just one of the greatest games in wrestling. It's hard to describe it because you're getting the same style and thing each year when it comes to wrestling games. But I don't know. There's just something about this game that is elevated and it gives it the high ground over most other wrestling games. It's the easiest way to wrap up my closing thoughts is this game has high ground on other wrestling games.
Yeah, what about you, Canton?
A detail that I do like back to the season mode is if you do pick your call, then you start off in heat and then work your way up the card.
Oh, okay.
But if you're like someone that's already like an actual wrestler, you start off on SmackDown or Raw, and you you still put up your way up the card.
So like 2K15, how you started on NXT and then you had to make your way to main event, and then you had to make your way
to SmackDown or Raw.
Raw.
Yeah, it's like that. So you call. It's going to take you a long time, especially because the only way to level up your call is to actually play it and unlock the stuff. But if you're like Undertaker, you're already top of the food chain. You're already the champion in the game, I'm pretty sure. You don't have to worry about all that. You're like the highest rated.
Did this game have the John Cena fire extinguisher scene? Or was it one of the other
I think it
ones?
was an SVR game. I could be wrong.
Was it? It might have been an SVR game.
Yeah, because I don't think John Cena was in this game.
No, he would have been like very young. He would have been like the blue chipper or whatever.
Oh, the whatever.
The prototype.
Yeah.
But no, we'll probably end up covering the SmackDown versus Raw games. But let me tell you, there's some funny moments in this game and during the career modes, but also the other games, career modes.
Especially whenever you get into those like early 2010s, late 2000s.
Yeah, the Cody Rhodes,
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio storyline.
I injured my knee 3 times.
Yeah.
Was it 8 times or something? It was.
I don't know. You know what I wish? I wish we could have played out. As much as I hate to say this, Vince McMahon when he ran into the
whenever he
during
tore
the
his
Royal
quads.
Rumble and he tore both quads. That would have been a fun thing to play as. Just the giant mean pompadour walking down, runs into the ring, slides in, plop,
Bluey.
plop because he tore both his quads.
How do you even do that?
Yeah. With
How do you even do that?
your car?
That'd be
Oh
funny.
my God.
That'd be funny. So you get sent down to like NXT and have to work your way back up.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
God,
But yeah.
they need to have like more of those where it's like an actual wrestling thing and not just, hey, big storyline, congratulations, you did it.
Yeah. So that's kind of it.
Wait, Nick, any
No,
closing
he
remarks?
had.
Oh
his
no,
closing-
no.
Did he
no,
do his?
He went first.
Okay,
But
sorry.
thank you all for joining us at the arcade. I'm Brady Keith. I'm Brady Luchasaurus Keith.
I am Nick Ryan.
And I'm Canton hologram lover Roberts.
Signing out from the arcade. See you next Friday.
See ya.
See ya.
Deuces.
Ooses. Yay.